I just want you to know.
What's in your jacket? I don't want. I'm kind of nervous when you're handing your jacket like.
You're nervous?
Yeah.
Hi everyone, Donut here. This video is a little bit old. You may have seen it before. I'm still trying to catch up on the past couple months, but we're going to get into a Thanksgiving video. Shooting. Thanksgiving is supposed to be a time for turkey, enjoying your racist grandpa drink tons of whiskey, and blacking out with family. Thanksgiving is not for having to evacuate your home because your crazy neighbor is airing out the walls with a ton of bullets.
Nobody's gonna kill you.
That's exactly what happened in a little known state where nothing crazy ever happens. Florida. A 6-hour standoff turned a quiet little condo into quite the war zone. War zones is what they do best down there in Florida, and we're going to talk about that, but first a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. You know what is not fair? I live in Texas, so I can't watch videos on Netflix. Yeah, Netflix. I didn't know this, but Netflix has over 18,000 shows that not all of us can see. There's only like 7,000 available in the US. But with ExpressVPN, you can watch anything. Here's how easy it is to use ExpressVPN. I'm gonna go to not Texas. Let's try, let's say Los Angeles and connect. That easy. Oh, not only can you watch shows that you normally can't watch in Texas, but you can block trackers, block malicious sites, block ads, and block adult sites. ExpressVPN can protect you while you're browsing, and if you want to watch other shows that you can't watch in Texas or in the United States. It's pretty cool. You can change your online location, so you can control where you want Netflix to think you're located. It works for many other streaming platforms too. You saw how easy it is to use. It'll work on all your devices too. Phones, tablets, laptops, smart TVs, and more. It's fast as hell too. You can stream in HD with no buffering. I like to use mine mostly on my cell phone. To watch Netflix, you can get 4 months free by scanning the QR code right here. Click the link in the description below, or just by going to expressvpn.com/donutoperator. That's right, 4 months free, expressvpn.com/donutoperator. Before we jump into all the chaos in Florida, let's go over to Santa Monica, California. I wonder if Gavin Newsom's gonna let that burn next. Down there in California, cops just get crime delivered to them every single day. Santa Monica, Gavin Newsom's fire pit. October 5th, 2024, at approximately 5:21 p.m. Here's our suspect strolling into Target looking like any regular customer, but instead of buying anything, he decides to turn it into a robbery. He asks for a set of knives, then shoves the employee in bolts. Now he's armed himself with an 8-inch chef's blade. Yep, that's a pretty big knife. Now instead of just laying low, our suspect does something unexpected. Would you look at that? The suspect just walks into a police station like he's there on official business. He even rings the call button. Now let's see how officers handle this unexpected visitor.
Okay, let me talk to them first, and then we can talk. Is that okay?
Were they here?
I was here first, yes.
I just want you to know.
What's in your jacket? I don't want. I'm kind of nervous when you're handing your jacket like.
You're nervous?
Notice how, rightly so, the officer addresses the suspect's hidden hand. He asks him to show his hand, trying to keep the situation calm while assessing the threat in front of him. And I say threat in front of them. Yes, it is a potential threat when you can't see someone's hands. He could have an 8-inch purple knife in his hand that he just stole from a store. Who knows?
Yeah, he does.
He stole it from a Target. Elmo sold me fentanyl behind Target one time.
I was reading through some of the responses. Elmo sold me fentanyl behind Target.
Now, as a police officer, approaching someone who's concealing their hands is always pretty risky. Officers, of course, are trained first to get the person's hands visible so you can see that there's not a purple knife or a gun in their hand. The officer in this situation is attempting to de-escalate, but he's also prepared for the suspect to have a weapon in their hand, so he starts backing away slowly. If you couldn't have guessed, things are about to escalate.
What's in your jacket? I don't want. I'm kind of nervous when you're handing your jacket like.
You're nervous?
Yeah.
There it is. Suspect lunges with the knife, completely catching the officer off guard. In a split second, though, the officer sees the guy lunging at him and he starts backing up to create some distance. That distance is going to give the officer time to react, assess the situation, and if needed, use the tools at his disposal. Let's watch this next bit to see how the officer handles the situation.
You're on the ground!
After the officer hits the suspect a couple of times, he backs up and gives the guy a chance to drop the knife and get on the ground. I think that dude had already made up his mind though, because he comes at the officer again. And foreshadowing, it was the last thing that dude ever did.
Get on the ground! Shots fired! Shots fired! Front of HQ! I got one at gunpoint, Avenida Mazatlan, guns facing northbound, Send an ambulance.
Here we can see a different angle of the attack from the surveillance camera at the station, from the original attack at the front doors to the side of the building. That 8-inch blade that he stole from Target was definitely capable of doing some serious damage, and what he did. According to reports, the officer ended up receiving some severe stab wounds to his shoulder and neck. You can also see the slash marks here on the officer's vest where the dude tried to stab him, but it didn't go through. The officer was taken to the hospital and released the following day. Thank God he had that vest on, or this could have been a folded flag story. As I said earlier, the suspect did not make it. It looks kind of like a self-forever sleep by cop. For our next incident, we're going to be moving on over to good old Florida, where Florida man is up to his usual shenanigans. Holy shit, that's the name of a town? Ormond by the Sea, Florida. November 28, 2024, 4:20 a.m. Hey. Early Thanksgiving morning in Volusia County, Florida, deputies were called to the scene of a 56-year-old man who was having some feelings about self-deleting. Holidays are always rough for people who aren't feeling very good. That's usually the time where, the most self-forever sleeps happen. And being called to that as a police officer is a pretty dangerous situation because they might just, do self-forever sleep by cop, or they might try to take you with them. Emotions are high, and a lot of times they're armed. As soon as they got there, he decided to take everyone's already awkward holiday dinners and turn them into an attempted murder fest. Because by 6 a.m., neighbors were calling 911 saying he had started shooting at their units and he wasn't stopping.
You hear the bullets whizzing over our head, and we were probably 100 yards back.
According to the sheriff, the suspect fired more than 200 rounds. He used a shotgun, a handgun, and even a Thompson. Anytime I think of a Thompson and Florida man together, I can't help but to think of Ernest Hemingway shooting at sharks with his Thompson off the back of a boat. Yeah, that really did happen. Let's jump into the footage and break down what happened in this incident.
A 20-shot Mel ring ski mask. Another person called, heard 9 shots.
Oh.
Deputies showed up to find bullets already tearing through walls, windows, and neighboring apartments. Amazingly, no one was hurt in that initial hell of gunfire. In this next clip, you'll see deputies scrambling to set up a perimeter and figure out where the hell all these bullets are coming from.
He's right here. He's shooting this way. Somebody hold this. Hold this.
And one of them asked the million-dollar question.
Is that a machine gun?
Probably from the front of this building.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kaylee. You guys stay here.
Does that guy have a machine gun? Yes. And honestly, when you're hearing what sounds like Chicago on just an average weekday, it's not a bad guess. After that, deputies actually try and de-escalate the situation by talking some sense into the guy, hoping that, maybe he'll stop trying to kill everyone in the apartment complex, including the cops.
We got Joseph. This is the Volusia Sheriff's Office. If you need help, we can provide you with resources. We just need to make sure you're okay. Come outside with your hands up. We just need to talk to you and see if you're all right.
Since the guy doesn't have anyone directly inside of his apartment that they know of, they need to get the other people out of there to safety. Keep the civilians safe, and during that time, try not to escalate the situation.
Sheriff's office. Hello. How are you? Come on. Come on in the house. Is it just you inside the house?
Yeah, I got it.
Come on. Come on. Stay behind the shield. Come on. Stay behind me. Stay behind me. And we're gonna walk back, okay? Walk back.
Straight back.
Straight back. Yep. Just come on. Turn around. You're good. We're good. Straight back. They're covering us.
So the deputies are out there escorting civilians behind ballistic shields, knowing full well they could get shot at any second by the crazy man with a Tommy gun. That takes some serious balls.
In the heart of America.
Here's the thing, shields aren't foolproof. Do they help? Yes. Are they foolproof? Not really. There's still a chance a round could pierce through or ricochet, so a very tense situation. Very, very puckering. Once the area was cleared of any civilians, negotiators stepped in to try and talk the guy down a little bit. Over the next couple hours, they made several attempts to communicate with him. They used everything from loudspeakers to phone calls. Let's listen in.
Hey, Joe, it's Thanksgiving. Let's just be thankful when you come out and you're safe. That's a pretty damn good thing to celebrate.
I can't believe that Thanksgiving line didn't work on the out-of-control psycho with a machine gun.
Must be too busy shooting at people.
Every time they tried to negotiate, the guy opened fire again. Why can't people just be courteous in this situation and do the right thing? Anyways, this thing is almost getting impossible to manage, and they need to figure out what to do.
We can't have you shooting at us, all right? Or shooting in the general direction of anybody.
I don't think at this point it's possible to de-escalate a guy who answers by emptying a magazine. I gotta say, I feel bad for the negotiator here. The guy's trying to buy time for the deputy, but the suspect is firing off so many rounds you can practically hear the negotiator's soul leaving his body. Just dealing with this moron.
Joe, you gotta stop shooting, man. All right? Will you yell out if you want us to start working on getting a counselor for you?
I know I'm doing some jokey jokes here, but the suspect wasn't just firing blindly out of a window. He was actively targeting deputies. He was shooting at their armored vehicles and even shooting at the deputies using ballistic shields to set up a loudspeaker. Naturally, because this dude doesn't seem to be running out of ammo and he poses a danger to everyone, SWAT starts preparing.
I'll shoot him. I'll shoot him.
They start putting a plan together.
That Cadillac, can you see she comes out?
So I think he barricaded the front door. When I pulled the neighbors out, they would share a wall with him. They were like, he was moving a bunch of shit by the front door after his last volley. So I don't know that he'd run out that way.
Just be careful.
Yes, sir.
That was us, right? Or else him. If they got a shot, take it.
The plan was pretty simple, pretty standard procedure for SWAT. Hit the place with tear gas and force him to come out because tear gas fucking sucks. Just in case things went sideways, they had a sniper on standby. But first, the deputies had to break the wall down and try and get a camera in there. That's where one of my favorite little toys comes in that we've talked about a little bit on this channel, the Rook. The Rook is probably one of my favorite little devices that SWAT teams use across the country. It's basically the Swiss Army knife of armored vehicles for SWAT teams. It's built on a Bobcat chassis and has a bunch of cool tactical attachments. It's got a bulletproof cab, battering ram, breaching tools, and even a platform to get people up high or through a second-story window. It can punch through walls, clear obstacles, or give deputies a safe spot to operate under fire. It is a super badass piece of machinery that unfortunately I never got to use. Holy shit, we should buy a Rook. Yeah, hey, demo, Brandon, we need a Rook right now.
So the plan, we gonna go up there, you gonna light up the front door, I need you to punch that through that window that you're shooting through. Gotcha. Get the camera in there so we can see.
And here we get some great advice on how to operate the Rook.
Expect to get shot at, okay? Yes, sir. Don't let it freak you out.
I'm not really sure, but it kind of sounds like they gave that job to the new guy. A rookie with a Rook. After the Rook moved in, the man took that as an opportunity to fire at deputies more. After tear gas was deployed, the suspect took cover in a back room, but he's still dangerous. Remember the sniper that I said was on standby? Well, he takes a pretty good shot right here, completely ending the threat. No civilians or deputies were harmed, so good job, boys. Old Mike Chitwood is the sheriff here. I don't know if you've ever seen old Mike Chitwood, but he always says some pretty badass stuff. Seriously, look up some of the compilations of Sheriff Mike Chitwood on YouTube. They're fucking hilarious. Here's what he had to say about this incident.
This was a situation where he was not going to negotiate. Every time he tried to negotiate, he opened fire on us. He turned off his phone. And he was armed to the teeth. In 37 years, I don't think I've ever had an experience where I had to position snipers and say, you have a green light to do your job.
But you know, the suspect is a felon with a history of firearm convictions. Reports suggest he was off his medications. No shit. It's a tragic situation. The guy was obviously having some kind of mental breakdown. To tell you the truth, I don't feel too bad because he could have seriously hurt or killed innocent people or the deputies. This standoff could have ended so much worse. The fact that no one else was hurt is a testament to the professionalism and courage of the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. Was there anything different they could have done? How would you have handled? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, I'm getting ready to go to SHOT Show where we're going to have the last live unsubscribed podcast of this tour. If you want to help support the channel, check out pepperbox.tv, go to donutoperator.com, watch the unsubscribed podcast, or take a look at my vlog channel. That's all I got for you fine people today. Until next time, please have a fantastic day.
Whacker.